Hey, wood turners, picture takers, off-roaders, welcome. I'm in the shop today. And what am I doing in the shop? Well, first of all, I want to show you some stuff. Last week, my daughter and her family drove in from Colorado, and we celebrated my birthday. It's the first birthday that I've had that has a name, actual name. It's called octogenarian. Can you believe that? I can't. But anyway, they drove in and they had gifts. We had a party and then they had gifts. She got me some epoxy, a couple of boxes of that, which is greatly appreciated. And then the big thing here was she got me a couple of gouges. These are Robert Sorby. She got me a roughing gouge, which I've used and I really like it. I didn't have a big roughing gouge. I think this is a 1-inch. And she got me a skew, which I tried to use. Skews scare the life out of me. Don't know how to use one, so I always wanted one. It's a 1-inch, 25 millimeter. HSS, I don't know if you can read that or not. High-speed steel, Robert Sorby, Sheffield, England. Both of them are. And very, very nice. Got nice, I don't know, looks, I'm not sure what the wood there is, the handles. But they look nice anyway. So, might be just a little short, I don't know. All the handles I've got are about 4 inches longer, but boy, they're really nice. So this roughing gouge, I used it already. I turned this. I didn't show you that because all it is just spindle turning. That's no big deal. You all know what that looks like. That's just a waste of your time to see me turn it. What is this? Well, it's kind of a. Let's see if I can get it with the light here so you can see it better. An old apothecary type jar. Now, why is it significant? Well, I'm going to make a lid for it to fit in here. It's the first time I've made a lid, so I'll probably film that with you so you can watch the struggle as I try to figure out how to make a lid that fits. But one of the other gifts that she gave me was this book. This is The Art of Turn Bowls, designing bowls with a world-class turner. And of course that is Richard Raffin. And I'm not much for do-it-yourself books, but this is really good. She did give me one other book, I haven't got into it yet, on using resin. It looks interesting. So I guess that's why the couple of boxes of resin. She probably wants me to turn something for her. But anyway, this book here on turning bowls, this is really an insightful book. I've read about a third of it so far. I'm reading it really slow because there's just so much good introduction, or so much good information here. And the introduction was very insightful. I really appreciate it. But it has things like this. Converting a log into bowl blanks, what you should look for, how to cut it, how to get the most wood out of it, and this sort of thing. Really, really neat. And he's got actual pictures here of wood and some bowls turned from that wood, and just everything that he's doing. It's really a good book. I'm anxious to read it all. If you're into that sort of thing and you want to learn from the pro, Richard Raffin, you ought to get this book. It's that good. Richard, you ought to send me a free bowl for promoting your book. But anyway, I'm using it. I've kind of been practicing over here. I got a couple of big oak logs. This sucker, boy, that's heavy. I can't even hardly move it. I don't know how I'm going to get it to saw it up. But I've been looking at it and kind of practicing marking. I painted it with some polyurethane to kind of cut down on the cracks, and I think I don't think these cracks are real deep. And then there's a split log over here that I got, and I'm marking it as well as how I want to cut it up and make bowls out of it. And I'm trying to use Raffin's Insight. So anyway, it was happy birthday, and I really appreciate the gifts and love my family, and the biggest gift was them taking their time to get down here to celebrate with me. It's not actually my birthday. My birthday's not till November, but they can't come in November. You know, snow and all that sort of thing. It's very, very sketchy, you know, whether they're going to have big snow or not snow. So they come down in the summer. Anyway, I appreciate the gifts. It's time to get to work, and I will be filming what I'm doing. I'm going to cut off about that much of that. This is Leland Cyprus, and so is this, and I make my lid out of the cutoff here. And I'm going to use this, I don't know, to make something. I'm not sure what yet, but now this piece here, this thing is really, well, it's really rugged. It's got a lot of spalding in it, a lot of cracks, and I picked it specifically because it did have a lot of cracks. I did glue the cracks. I did not fill the cracks. I didn't want them filled, and I didn't have much trouble. The only trouble I had was with this big crack up here. My gouge caught that and flipped it off of the lathe like you wouldn't believe, even though I had it chucked up with a tenon down here on this end. It still flipped it off. Then when I put it back on, I was glad that I was almost done turning. When I put it back on, of course I couldn't get it. It was wobbling. I'd have to recut the whole thing, and I didn't want to do that, so I quit. But I didn't dig it all out. This stuff is so hard. I was using carbide tools. I was using Sorby carbide tools, and it is so hard I couldn't get it to cut. The end grain on this is just almost impossible to cut. But anyway, I want it to look like it. It's got some really unique grain. I hope you can see that in the video here. The grain is really unique as it runs multiple ways. And of course the spalding is really neat. And I like the cracks just because I want it to look like something from ancient times. Now, I used, it was one big hole right here. And I bought some new CA glue. It's called Wow. I think it's CA glue. It doesn't say what it is on there anyplace, but it acts like CA glue. It smells like CA glue, and it works like CA glue. It's somewhere, I would say, between a thin and a medium. It's kind of in between. And it works really good, and it's a whole lot less expensive than the other brands. Now, I've been using this brand. Sorry, my battery went dead. Anyway, using Starbond, which is a whole lot more expensive than the other glue. That's what I was trying to tell you. And I can't tell you that the Starbond works any better than the other because it doesn't. So anyway, I'm using the Wow glue by Kraken. I got it on Amazon. And I can't tell you the price, but you get 2 boxes like in the picture here, and it's half the price of buying one little bottle of the other stuff, and it's a whole lot more product. So you should get on Amazon and try it out. These bottles are 3.5 ounces, and of course you got the accelerator, the can of accelerator to go with it. So anyway, what I was doing, I was going to show you, was the black spot on the Apothacary Jar. I put some glue in that hole, and I put a little sawdust, then more glue, more sawdust, more glue, more sawdust. and I smoothed it out, and then I painted it black with a Sharpie, and it's hard as a rock, and it did a better job of filling the hole than the Starbond. I've done this with Starbond before, and I'm sure you probably have too, filling cracks and stuff. But this looks like resin. It's so hard. And I just painted it with a black Sharpie, and it looks like I put black resin in there. It's slicked, it polished up real nice. It did a really, really nice job. So, check out Amazon for wow. It'll save you some money, and it's every bit as good, if not better, than the Starbond. And I like the consistency because it's not as thick as medium, but not as thin as thin. It's kind of in between, so it doesn't run near as bad as the other. But it will run enough to where it'll go deep into the cracks. So give it a shot, give it a try out. I think you'll find that you like it. Okay, I've got the piece mounted on my cutoff saw. I'm going to cut it right about here. I got a wedge underneath and a wedge in the back so that I'll get a pretty straight cut. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be close. So I'm going to get that cut off, hopefully. Well, it didn't cut all the way through like I hoped it would. I'm not real thrilled about that. It's so ungainly. Well, that worked out pretty good. It's straighter than I thought it would be. I don't think I'll even square this end up. So I'm going to find the center. I already got the center marked on this end. Find the center on that end, and I'm going to mount it on the lathe and get it rounded up and start figuring out how to make a lid for my apothecary jar. Alright, I'll get back to you when I got it mounted on the lathe. Okay, I got it mounted up. Be turning at about 750 RPM. I'm going to use my new Sorby roughing gouge, and we'll see if we can get her turned around. Let's see what we got here. I don't want to turn it so small that it won't fit. There's a good crack right there. It doesn't look like it's very deep. I want to turn a little more because it's not round yet, not all the bark's off. This end is a little bigger than the other end, so let's keep turning. I'm going to measure across there and make sure I'm about 4.5 inches. I'm getting down there. This end is 5, and this end is about 4 3/4. So I can turn a little more off. So I'll keep turning here. Let me move my... This Sorby gouge really cuts nice. I haven't sharpened it yet. It's sharp right out of the box. It's doing a nice job. Let's see what we got. It's still flat right there. I need to turn, looks like about another 1/8 of an inch off. Then I'm going to quit, square up the end. I think I'll put my tenon down here on this end. This is a better looking end than this end. There's a couple of big cracks there. I'd rather have this end. So I'm going to turn about another 1/8 of an inch off. I think I got it. Let me measure again. Okay, I'm back. Been gone a few days. I've got it marked off what I want my topped, or my cap, or lid, or whatever you want to call it, look like. I'm not sure I know what I'm doing. But anyway, I want to make a band here. It'll fit down inside, and make a band here, and then I want to round this off to make a dome. But I'm not sure how I'm going to separate the dome from the rest of it. And I want a small flat spot on the top of the dome, where I've got a little finial I want to put on top there. So I'll start fitting it for the bottom, so the lid will fit down in there tight, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'll be using the Sorby carbide tip here, flatten that out. Alright, let's look and see how that's going to fit before I get too crazy here. I got to take a little more off the inside here. Kind of trial and error. Oh, it's almost there. Just a hair. That's perfect. And the other part's perfect. I'd say it's a go. Question is, do I want to make it just a little deeper or not? What do y'all think? Should I make it just a little deeper? I've got about 3/16 there. I'm thinking it ought to be 1/4. And then I want my band to be about 1/2 inch. So, well, I'll keep playing with it, and when I get that much done, I'll get back to you and show you what it looks like. Okay, I've got it shaped like I want it. I got to take that little nubbin off there, but it fits real good, I think. Yeah, it fits pretty good. Fits kind of tight. So I think that's just what I wanted. Now I gotta shape my dome here. I gotta bring this down and shape my dome. Not sure what I'm doing there, but we're gonna work on it anyway. All right, I'll get back to you when I get it started on that. I'm working that down with my spindle gouge, and I make room with the parting tool here. Whoa, got a catch. Got a big catch. That ain't good. That ain't good. This is not my bag here. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna change heads here and see if I can't do a better job. I think I'm gonna have to take the rest of this down. Well, I'm getting it down there where I want it, kinda. I'll keep working on it. When I get a lot closer, I'll show you what it looks like. All right, here's the shape. You can kind of see it up here. Rounds over. Makes kind of like an OG in here. And then this flat down here, that's where my finial is set. So what I got to do now is do some sanding. I want to touch this up just a little bit, and I got to square off that flat spot there so that my finial will fit flush. It's not quite flush yet, but that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. Then I'll get to sanding. When I get it all done here, I'll get back to you and show you what it looks like. Well, I got it shaped. My little finial ought to fit just fine on that. It's pretty flat. My base fits up nice and tight. I put a little decoration here on the other side. I didn't really need this. I just liked the kind of way it looked. So that's where I'm at. So I'm going to sand now. You don't need to see that. That's just, you know, taking a little sander and sanding. I'll be usually doing most of this by hand because I can't get in here. So maybe I'll sand this with my sander. Other than that, it'll all be by hand. I'll start with probably about an 80 or 100 grit, and I'm going to work all the way up to 400 grit. Okay, so I'm going to sand now, and I'll get back with you when I get done sanding. Well, I got it all sanded down to a 400 grit. Now I'm going to take my Japanese pull saw and saw this off right there, glue my finial on. Then it's time to start finishing this off, putting it together and calling it a winner. Alright, I'll get back to you when I get this cut off. Well, here it is in all its glory. You know, I picked this piece because it was the ugliest piece of wood I could find. And I did that because I figured ugly would look old. Look at all this spalding. Yeah, look at this grain. And whether you like the shape or not, that's really insignificant. It's truly all about the wood. So here's my first top. You know, this darn stuff was so tough I couldn't hardly gouge out the inside there. It was really hard. It came off of the spindle once, and then it was no longer in balance, and I didn't want to reshape it. what I'm trying to say is it's problematic. Here's where the Wow CA glue was. You know, it looks like resin filler there. That's really good stuff. Well, that's what it is. Yeah, I appreciate you for watching. So give me a thumbs up if you like the video. And if you don't like it, well, tell me why in the comments section. In the meantime, you keep your camera shutter clicking for the memories of life. You keep your 4x4 wheeling so you can enjoy the beautiful outdoors. And don't get your sleeves caught in the lathe. We'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Bye now.